swelled, forcing him to look at her in the eyes and make his proclamation. I want to go all the way with you today. Rarity felt another pang of shock go through her, amazed at how far Spike was willing to take this. But there was no apprehension in her this time around. She nodded slowly, understanding sweeping through her as she looked at the Drake's shivering, nervous, and excited body. Well, we're both adults at the end of the day, Rarity nodded. So what's a little consensual anal pounding between friends, eh?
Oh my god.
Spike nodded with a smile and a chuckle, gently drumming his thighs as he looked around for a brief moment. So, how do you want to do this? He asked. Strip off properly and throw those in a corner, Rarity said, pointing at Spike's clothing. Then, I'm going to ask you to get on your hands and knees so I can get you ready. Ready? Spike asked, cocking a scaled eyebrow. Rarity didn't answer at first, instead using her magic to strip entirely out of her clothing and allowing everything to hang free before using another spell to conjure up a bottle of oil, clearly for lubricant. There's a lot of me that's going to be in a small amount of you, she said with a small chuckle.
Holy fuck.
Uncapping the bottle and pouring a long, unbroken line of oil onto her cock before beginning to rub it in. I need to make sure it does that as easily as possible. Right. Okay. Got it. Spike nodded eagerly, stripping out of his clothing, getting in position on the mat. Rarity walked over to him, her hand easily rubbing the oil in her cock flesh. Wasting no time, she applied a large coating of oil to Spike's ass, drawing numerous lines on every inch of his enormous, soft-scaled rear.
Hell yeah.
Yo, sus. That's a good bit of oil, he commented.
Oh my god, man.
As he looked back over his shoulder for a good bit of ass. Rarity smirked. Gently slapping his hip across his cheek, splattering the oil and making it jiggle. A pleasure to yelp, Spike. Wanting to waste no time with the intimacy, Rarity set both hands to work on his mountainous ass. Sinking her hands into his booty and spreading the oil as far and evenly as possible. Once a nice thick coat was spread across his cheeks, Rarity smirked cheekily, gripping her cock at the base and sliding it into the crack of Spike's ass. Spike, sweetie, he asked, bucking her hips forward as to slide her cock through his canyon-deep ass cheek. Okay, here we go. I gotta do something. I gotta do something I'm not gonna be proud of here. Oh no!
Hey! Dude, I'm already like clinging to reality here. You need to chill out. Chill out.
Okay, I'm gonna read that then. M and F. No, that feels great actually. Spike nodded, biting down on his bottom lip as he felt Rarity's hot, throbbing cock slide over his tight asshole. She used her hands to gather up more of his ass, squeezing his thick cheeks over her cock and swallowing it completely. The heat and the pressure was beautiful. The ease of how well her oil-slicked cock pumped in and out of his buns felt fantastic.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
She felt herself raised to her again. A brief drip of pre pouring from the tip of her cock and staining the green scales on Spike's back. His tail affectionately wrapped around her slender waist, gripping tight as he locked her in place.
I'm just glad I'm getting good weapons right now, man.
The two of them were more than ready for this, she could tell. With a firm and skilled hand, she guided her down to his puckered entrance, biting down on her lip as she teased and toyed with his tight asshole, rubbing and prodding the oiled tip against his now oil-drenched sphincter. Rarity, Spike whined in a desperate voice.
It's My Little Pony porn. It's My Little Pony porn.
Eyes full and horny as she looked at him. I'm just having my fun, sweetie, she winked, gently massaging his ass once again. I'll give you yours now. Hurt through the tunnel of his ass. She fell in mere seconds, her fingers gripping Spike's wide, womanly hips as she came to a stop.
Womanly.
You want it properly. Right?
It's,
She asked,
it's
making
My
sure-
Little Pony porn, Ghosty. It's.
Oh god. Everything, Rarity. He begged. The desperation in
Ghosty,
his
can you
eyes
hear me,
as
by the way?
adorable as it was obvious.
Because I can't tell if
Yeah.
you're muted or not.
Then
He can hear us. He can hear us.
He can hear us.
Sus.
It's
I'll
just he's
give
muted.
you everything, she nodded, down to the last drop.
Holy
And with
fuck.
that, she set to plowing her beautiful little friend's tight, fat ass. Her grip gave her the leverage she needed. Her hips were a spear tight little femboy of plowing he would never forget. Excuse me. The slaps of contact, the sound of her broad hips hitting his fat ass, were as wet as they were loud. Sloppy, splashing, and hot, thanks to the oil coating on both of them. Rarity jackhammered Spike's twitching out asshole with every ounce of her strength. She wished she'd gotten some proper warm-up stretches in before they started properly, she thought to herself with a smug as going this hard, this early, was more than likely going to have her pulling a muscle of some kind. Her eyes were once again locked onto that rear, watching his cheeks ripple and bounce as she clapped them over and over again.
Oh my god.
It reminded her of a basin of water being struck. The flesh of Spike, the flesh of Spike's booty being so soft and supple that it could ripple like disturbed water. The weight of it was thrown forward again and again with each strike of her hips. Fat, muscular bouncing, making Rarity drool again as she stared.
How much
Her spit
longer?
mixing-
How much more is
You
there?
should talk. It's
Not
great.
much.
You should talk.
Her spit mixing with the oil and her the sweat pouring out of the dragon. Her ears perked as she listened to him moan and beg, pleading with her to go faster, to fuck him harder, to use every inch of that bitch breaker to stir up his insides in a way
Oh
he
my
never stopped doing.
Jesus Christ.
She grinned, proud and arrogant, as her cock, her prowess, reduced what was usually a decently reserved and quiet individual into a lewd, moaning slut. All for her to enjoy, just as much as she was enjoying him.
Oh.
His ass really was something special to her. She could tell that right away. Ignoring the size, ignoring the weight, ignoring how the light of the studio glistened and reflected off of it as it bounced off her cock. The way it felt was beyond magical. Like oiled velvet, wet and boiling just enough to feel perfect. His virgin cavern feeling it was made for her cock and her cock alone. If the sex between them was as good as this, she was beginning to feel like the two of them were literally made for each other. Spike cried out, getting her attention again as he came. Even though the sound of getting his ass pounded, the sound of his small yet powerful cock pumping cum onto the mat, splashing and pooling beneath him was audible. She grinned to herself, more arrogance and pride swelling in her chest in a way she swore made her dick grow at least an extra inch in Spike's delicious booty.
Dude.
Do you love the way I fuck you, sweetie? Rarity asked, gently leaning over Spike's body, speaking to his ear as she continued to tear up his ass. Yes! He screamed out in pleasure. Is it everything you've ever wanted? She laughed. Am I everything you'll ever need? Yes. Yes. Please, Rarity, don't fucking stop. He hollered so loud she could have sworn he was shaking the walls. Who was she to ignore such an honest request? She wasn't done yet, and she wasn't due to be done for a while. That's all. We're almost done. She sunk in, shifted her position, angled her hips better to really get some lift to her threats when she fucked this delicious boy pussy. Spike dropped down onto his arms, unable to keep himself supported anymore as the pleasure melted his brain. In the position he was in, all it did was highlight how big and gorgeous his booty was to the hungry dick mare behind him. Come on. Come on, darling. Throw it back.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's Ghosty.
Show me how much you love it. Spike, without a word, did as instructed, managing to pump his hips back and forth in time with Rarity's, matching her thrust to slide back just as she hit forward. The well-fucked little twink did it for the motive of skill, and dare she say it, elegance. It was almost like Spike had discovered a natural talent for riding cock that she was, unsurprisingly, more than interested in keeping all to her horny, well-hung self. This is where the romance comes in. I forgot to tell you all about that. She licked her lips.
Romance.
Yeah.
The romance.
She licked her lips and rolled her shoulders, feeling the sweat of pleasure and exertion coating her beautiful body as she continued to smash Spike's back door in. That tight, desperate feeling of her balls swelling up returned, the boiling need to come burning through her entire body as she found herself near the edge. She heard it again, the sound of Spike coming from her vicious pounding, splattering the mat with more femdrake cum. Oh my god. And she knew it was about time to wrap things up in a neat, sticky, cum-flated blow. Oh my god. She kicked herself into overdrive at this
Even
point.
he's disgusted by this.
Pistoning her hips as hard and as fast as she could physically manage to drive herself closer and closer to her peak. With a mighty guttural cry, Rarity threw herself over that peak and descended hard into the canyon of orgasm. She slammed her hips home just as she blew her load, locking herself into place and refusing to budge as she pumped Spike fuller and fuller. Audible splashes of cum sounded throughout the studio, filling up the beautiful boy's even more beautiful asshole with thick steaming cum. Spike's already full belly began to stretch more and more, each blast of alabaster fuck muck
No.
filling him beyond his brim and pushing him into a state of nirvana. Rarity's balls churned and emptied into him as her cock began to soften, slipping out of his well-fucked hole and splurting the last of her ichor onto his bruised raw cheeks. Rarity collapsed forwards onto Spike.
How
The
much
cum began to gently jet out of his asshole.
Holy shit.
Rarity planting a kiss on the
This
black
really
of
was
his neck.
6,000 words. Holy fuck.
She snuggled closer to him. Forgive me if I'm overstepping my boundaries here, Spike, but she began in a tired fashion. Would you like to go to dinner with me sometime? Soon? Romantically, I might add. Are you serious? He added with a playful chuckle. You pop a stiffy over my ass, nearly unhinge my jaw with that monster cock, and then fuck me so full of cum that I look pregnant. And you think asking me out for a candlelight dinner is overstepping? Well, when you put it like that, Rarity chuckled, gently kissing his cheek, once again as Spike giggled in response. Is that a no? No, Rarity. It's an overwhelming yes. Can I just ask you a favor if we ever do this again? He queried. Of course you can, darling, she nodded. Whatever is it? Never let me ask you to go full force on me again, he sparked. I can't feel my asshole right now.
Oh my god.
And I don't think I'm gonna walk right for a week. That's fair, Rarity nodded, yawning in a tired tone. I'll see if there are restaurants that allow standing catering just for you. Thanks, Rarity, he nodded. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you, my fat bottom